martial arts video. Welcome back to Wasenshido Dojo. We are on day 1 of 7 days martial arts for beginners. A little bit of intermediate stuff, a little bit of advanced stuff. If you're advanced, haven't done martial arts in a while, jump back in, do some basics. We are out here in the woods. I've been neglecting my YouTube because I've moved across country. We were in Connecticut from Las Vegas and do some housework, yard work. It's taking a lot of my time, a lot of my energy. So we are back. I'm doing a 7-day little 7-day starter pack. Day 1 is stances and movements. Basic stuff, but let's try to make it fun. Let's get started. Let's get excited for some basic stances. It's gonna be a learning experience, and it could be a little boring because stances are not that exciting. So let's try to do what we can, do the hard work, and you'll feel good afterwards. So get up and follow along. So we're gonna start with, I'm gonna turn my back and you're gonna watch me from behind, and we'll start with some basic stances and just follow along. Just for fun, I got my knife and my stick. It's always nice to practice carrying around weapons, anything on you, just for fun, for you know, to get to learn how to carry things around, be aware of your body and how things stick out to the side or up to the top or things like that. So let's just get started. Standing normal, shoulder width, a little further than shoulder width distance. Okay, bend the knees. I get a little bounce. Okay, come back up, bend your knees. Bending the knees, coming back up. Maybe a little wider. Feet are basically straight forward. Straight forward. Here's like overly straight. Just come up. Maybe the inside of your feet are straight here. Bend the knees, bounce a little bit, sway from side to side. Maybe widen the stance just a little bit. Push the knees till right over the top of the toes. Back and forth, work on our knees. Working on smooth transitioning, smooth motion. Breathe in the nose and exhale. Okay. Horse stance, tucking the butt. Rounding or straight on the lower back. Okay, so if I'm to the side, I'm not fully rounded, but I'm not caving my back in and sticking my butt out. So tuck the tailbone, kind of a neutral, straight back, straight shoulders, relax the back of the neck, the top of the head, the very back of the top of the head is nice and, pull it, lifting up, nice and tall. Again, breathe and relax, but relax into the stance. But work hard, feel a little bit of burn. Feels burning a little bit, maybe burns too much, come out of it and go back down, back and forth. Hands come up. They can do whatever you want for now. This is just a basic. Hands out, working on the shoulders, posture, tuck the chin. I like to bounce a little bit because it just gives me a little extra movement and a little extra burn, a little extra smooth, because nothing's really, sometimes it's good to be stationary and just hold like basically as still as you can as you're doing focus practice. But for the most part, moving around back and forth, it gives the knees and the ankles and the joints and everything a nice exercise, nice movement for the, lubricates the joints. So now that's horse stance. Let's move into a combat stance. So standing shoulder width distance, stepping straight back. Turn that back foot out to the side. It could be at a slight angle, could be a full L shape, 90 degrees. The front foot could be a little bit turned. Okay, this is not strict practice here. This is only one way. Okay, Wasenshido martial arts does not teach that way. We don't teach that way. Sometimes there's a little bit of like, do it this way to start, and then but with you know, at the very beginning, so you can get like a foundation or a structure, and then very soon after that, it's, you know, we're moving. Like when I teach yoga or when I do yoga postures, I'm doing, you know, it's not just one way, and sometimes I'm moving in the posture, like mobility training, mobility exercises. So if you Google mobility workout or mobility animal flow or mobility flow, you'll see what I mean. There's a lot of movements and moving the body in primal, like animalistic ways, which combines kind of martial arts, yoga, all kinds of different movements. It's amazing practice. So, stepping back, hands are up, hands are open. There's no, you just, again, this is just mostly stance work. Switch sides, step forward, step back with the other foot. Now so you can see me. So let's recap. Horse stance, feet are straight, generally straightforward, okay? Shifting back and forth, shift up and down, nice, slow, smooth movements. Okay, hands are up, relaxing the shoulders, okay? And from here, stepping from normal stance back, combat stance, okay? Again, we're not sitting in this, like, unless you're doing a focused, really stationary, like working out the muscles and just getting a solid burn, we're not sitting still. We're not sitting still. Okay, we're going back and forth, moving forward and back. Feel the feet, feel where the pressure on the feet go. Are you going too much into your toes? Are you going too much into the outside of your foot and you maybe roll your foot? Are you going on the inside of your foot too much? Is the inside of your knee collapsing in too much? Okay, we want to keep it nice neutral. Now take that front knee and do a circle, outside circles, or whatever you want to call it, whatever direction. Then switch direction. Same thing with the back knee. Do a nice smooth circles, switch directions. Okay, we're getting a nice burn, a nice workout on the thighs. If this is too much, just shake them out. Come back into it. Remember to breathe. Nice deep breath in the nose. Okay, switching stance, arms up. Okay, do a nice like whole body circle. So if you see it from the side, my hands, I'm doing a circle like this. My body is doing a circle kind of forward and down. Now switching forward and up. Okay, this smoothness is going to help you transition and work with self-defense movements, real life situations. Okay, it's going to move and duck and bob and weave and boxing. So again, like I said, this is basic beginner stuff, but this is also getting into advanced. Advanced is the smoothness, it's the transitions, it's the, going from one stance to the other. Where's the hands? Where's my balance? Okay, up, leg up. Bring one leg up, back into the stance. Switch stance, bring the other foot up. Now don't bring that foot up in a real life situation. You're just practicing your balance. Because what if someone comes at your leg and you have to lift up, and then you jump back. So again, that's getting more advanced stuff. Okay, take a deep breath and relax for a minute. So we did some horse stance, we did a little bit combat stance. Let's go into just a little bit wider of a defensive type stance. So from standing normal, step back at an angle. Okay, and it's kind of like a 90 degrees. So the same kind of deal as the combat stance, just a little bit wider. Back foot is pointed off to generally the side, maybe a little bit forward. Don't want to go back too much unless you're going to turn and evade, or turn and roll, or turn and dive roll, or turn and run. Okay, the front foot is basically straightforward or turned in slightly. This is getting into some Kung Fu, Wing Chun, where the knees are coming in. The knees are coming in and you're fighting close quarters. It's what they talk about in Kung Fu or Wing Chun, where you learn to fight inside of a telephone booth. I'm not practiced too much on that, but just sharing some of the knowledge of where that comes from. Okay, so close quarter fighting, so you generate that groundedness and that strength of that in that center line. Okay, it's because from that center line you can move out and block and nagare, parry out and come in, or you can go and parry to the other direction. So out here or in, here, 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 boom, and then coming in for the stacked fist, the vertical fist strikes. So, coming back to stances. Stepping straight back, out to the side. Okay. This is also called triangulation. So from here, let me turn around. So if I'm a straight line this way, straight line towards the camera, or in front of the camera, I'm going to step off at a diagonal to the right, 45-degree angle. Okay, bring the hands up, one hand out here in the front, other hand close to the chin, close to the head. Elbow is not too far out, but not too far in, just right neutral. Close to the body, relaxed. Remember, breathe, okay? Now, when I'm moving back and forth, moving the knees, bending the knees, moving back and forth, okay? Do a little dip, bob and weave, like a boxing move, or ducking. Slip and roll, slip and roll. Okay, and let's do, remember, feel your feet. Are you going too much on the outer edge? Are you going too much onto the toes where you're too much pressure on the toes? Bringing the heel up is okay, of course, because that can give you some fast movement, like boxing movements. So that's like a wide boxing stance. So that's also definitely a good thing, but are you going too much onto the tips of the toes? If you're under the ball of the foot, that's okay too. That's good. Just being aware of how you're doing that. Because again, real life situation, and you get hit, and there's debris or there's objects all around you, and you step, you roll your ankle, you're going down unless you are at an extreme adrenaline and my belt's getting looser. There's weapons are gonna fall out. So yeah, so if you roll your ankle, you're pretty much, you're shot, you're out. So don't want to do that. So again, that gets into a little more advanced. So let's go back here, triangulate to the side, triangulate 45 degrees the other way. Here, stepping up, 45 degrees angle back, stepping up, 45-degree angle back. Do a circle, again, coming forward and down, and switching directions. This is mostly a workout, and it also gets the joints, it just gets your muscle memory working for stances, okay? It strengthens the joints and the muscles, so when you do use these stances for a fighting, self-defense, movements, then that's what you're practicing for. So, horse stance, combat style stance, defensive triangulating style stance. Something's coming straight in towards me, I'm getting out of the line of attack. Hands are up. Hands are up. Standing back to normal. I think that was a spider. It could have been a tick. If I think it's a tick, I'm going to kill it. So, standing back to back to center, back to the top point, and other direction. Imagine there's just something coming at you here, and you can kind of parry or just check whatever that is. Maybe it's just someone practicing coming in with their hand, someone coming with a stick or a knife, stepping back, boom. Okay. So triangulate again. So triangulate, hands up, step back with that front foot again, and triangulate again. And go at that same line, that same angle. So step back, and then shuffle back. Okay, so step back, and maybe hands, maybe you check. And then bring that front foot up, bring the front foot back at an angle, and step back again. Watch again. Triangulate. Step, triangulate. Triangulate, and now shuffle, triangulate. Same thing other side, triangulate, hands out, boom. Step, and now come back to center. Triangulate, and now shuffle. this front foot comes first, and then, so just think about the front foot kicking the back foot. Okay. Triangulate, it's not enough, triangulate again. Triangulate, it's not enough, triangulate again. Boom. Get it? Got it? Horse stance, combat stance, defensive stance, triangulation with some shuffling. If you do a horse stance, side stance, horse stance, side stance, you can shuffle forward, get closer, shuffle in a line back, staying sideways. Okay. I don't really like to shuffle in straight lines away from anybody, but it's definitely worth practicing. Okay, so shuffling back and forward with horse stance. Switch direction, switch sides, shuffle back, shuffle forward. Keeping the feet sideways because you want to be able to, you know, kick, side kick from a side stance. Parry, check, move, check, hands are up. Shuffle forward, check, shuffle, and side kick. Boom. Shuffle forward. Boom. All right. Standing straight forward, you step towards the, let's say I'm stepping towards the camera. Hands are up. I don't want any trouble. Hey man, everything's all good. Don't worry. Everything's all good. Nobody wants to fight. We're backing away. They come towards you and they give more of an attempt to attack you, even though you're like, hey, I don't want any trouble. We're gonna leave. They're like, you know, they start coming at you more. You can either try to get out of dodge, which is the number one thing to do. If you can't evade the situation, one thing is you can step in and jam. But since we're on the topic of the horse stance here, hey, I don't want any trouble. Let me get closer to the camera. Again, just giving you applications for horse stance. It's a really good technique to come in side stance. Attack the groin. If the groin doesn't work, come up to the chin. Groin, chin. Scrape the eyes, and then come in and hammer fist the nose, and come in with palm heel, break the nose, and grab the hair. Groin, chin, eyes, or just eyes, hammer fist the nose, grab the hair, and then you go into knees, all kinds of stuff. Break, palm heel, break the nose, grab their ears and twist. It's just a lot of different stuff. So, horse stance, stepping into a horse stance and doing striking from there. Now, I know this is a lot, but I'm trying to cram a lot of stuff into 7 days. I did my 30 days martial arts for beginners, where I had a couple of different stances videos, but this is getting into more advanced stuff, intermediate stuff. Okay, advanced stances is just using certain stances in real combat or for self-defense purposes and with sparring partners and stuff like that. That's the advanced. So, horse stance, combat stance, triangulating with a defensive stance, triangulate and doing some shuffle steps with these different stances. All right, boom, triangulate. Now let's triangulate forward. Stepping from shoulder width, just standing normal, to stepping forward at a diagonal into a forward stance. So in karate, just a forward stance or a front type stance, where it's kind of like you have a wide stance. You don't want to be fighting with your stance so wide like this. Okay, we're not doing karate with these wide stances. That can work. You know, that can work. All that kind of stuff. I haven't done that stuff for years. So that stuff can work if you want to sweep somebody and you just, and just do those kind of karate movements. But that's also not necessarily what we're teaching here. Use what works. That's Wasenshido and Ninjutsu at its core, really. If it works, use it. So, from standing normal, triangulated 45-degree angle forward. So if something's coming straight at you, someone's coming with a punch or a straight, or like a thrust kick, or just kicking you, someone's even just trying to chase after you, and maybe grapple. Stepping back at an angle, getting out of the line of attack can be fine, obviously, but stepping forward and at a diagonal, getting out of the way of that attack, their arm might they come at you and their arm might grab you, but it's so weak, and then you have something for a Genseki Nage, going underneath the arm, wrapping the shoulder. So something's coming straight in, stepping at a front triangulating at a forward 45-degree angle, triangulating forward or at an angle into a front stance. Same thing other side, hands are up. So if I'm gonna go off to my left, I'm gonna kind of parry, step, and parry, hands are up. Step, hands. So if something's coming straight in, I'm gonna step, and I got the hand to push out of the way. Same thing other side, same thing other side. Switching directions. Here, hands are up. Stepping, hands up. Okay, keep it real basic. You can turn your body a little bit with it. Okay. This is a little bit more of on the attack. You're going on the attack with this, on the offense. So something's coming straight at me, I'm gonna get out of the way and get closer to them. And now my body's right next to them. I can do all kinds of stuff, which we won't go into there. Okay. Striking, grappling, restraining, sweeping, eyes, self-defense, eyes, throat, feet, groin, knees. All right. So let's cover a couple more stances. Let's do boxing stance. Okay. So this is when I was in boxing class, you just jump up and kind of come down a little bit wider than shoulder width distance, and you kind of bounce with your heel slightly off the ground. 95% of your weight is on the balls of your feet. Okay, that's your boxing stance. So jumping up, and then you come down with your feet a little wider than shoulder width distance. Bounce a couple times, and then feel the balls of your feet and kind of tap the heels. There, then you start. Then that's what you got. So we're gonna start bouncing. Okay, back and forth, maybe at an angle. Say if the camera's my opponent, I'm kind of going, remember that 45-degree angle towards, and then switch, 45-degree angle this way. So if right there's my center line, 45, 45. Switch, here, okay? That's all we're gonna do. Let's keep it basic. All right, so we already did some pretty cool things. Shuffling and shuffling, shuffle, shuffle. We did some stepping into, we did some movements with the joints and the knees and the muscles. We got a nice little burn going. We got some applications. Why we move, different stances, obviously. So let's do one more. See this piece of wood? I could easily trip on this if I'm just stepping back. I hit my heel, I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna fall. So what do? Let me check the camera. All right. One nice technique to keep in mind, that I've actually used this a lot, but now and again it'll come up. So if you're just stepping back and you don't really know your surroundings and you hit your heel, like as I'm just kind of stepping back and I'm moving, and you hit your heel, the worst thing is to do is just do nothing and fall back. Oh my God, I'm gonna fall back. Okay, if you do fall back, tuck your chin and kind of round the back and kind of brace yourself with the forearms, okay? Forearms. Try not to land on your wrist, you're gonna might break your wrist. So anyways, I hit this and I'm a little off balance. What do? Step back at an angle into that back triangulate back in a defensive type angle stance here. So I'm trying to make it realistic where I'm actually like falling back and I kind of go off balance and then I just step out to the side. It takes some core, takes a little practice, takes some muscle memory. My shoe's getting actually getting kind of caught in this little divot or ditch here. So first thing is pick up the foot and step. Pick up the foot and step. So pick something in your house. If you're outside, go pick an object or a log or something like this. Like something that's like one of those little curb things in parking lots. So you just step, step, step. Make it realistic so you don't really know exactly where it is. Like you know where it is, but don't put it 10 feet away and be like, you could, just take you forever. Okay. Close your eyes. They're spraying for ticks. Well, the whole last 5 minutes, we're indoors now. The whole last 5 minutes was just a waste because the microphones were not on. But let me just recap a little bit what I just talked about. We're gonna end it there. That's the nice basics, intermediate stances. You can do a whole hour video on just one stance. So to practice that, if you can only do half the video, or you can just kind of do partially of the video, then that's what you can do. Just work hard, get up off your butt, move the body. Unless you have, I come from a past of extreme chronic illness where I couldn't do anything. Chronic fatigue is a mitochondrial disorder and issues with the cells. A lot more people having chronic issues. Do what you can. If you don't have a chronic issue, get off your ass, don't be lazy. If you do have a chronic condition and it's really, a serious thing for you, like it was for me, do what you can. Do what you can, just get up, do a little bit of movement, pace yourself, take some breaks, okay? So, I'll do some more videos on that, I think. I'm gonna start doing some videos on that soon. I'm writing a book about it, chronic illness, all kinds of stuff. So, we got horse stance, we got a horse step, stepping into horse stance and side stance, okay? We got moving from stance to stance. We didn't do much of that, so let me go over that. Horse stance, okay, moving side to side, stepping into horse stance. We got, what did we do next? We did a combat stance, okay? Again, switching stances, jumping and switching, okay? Moving forward, moving in a circle, okay? Again, that gets a little more advanced, not advanced, but to do it properly with good skill and smoothness, that's advanced. While you're parrying and sparring and whatnot, and keeping your feet and watching for objects and stuff. If it's not in a flat ring with nothing in there. So, combat style stance, triangulating back into a defensive type stance. Hands are up, hands forward, open hands. Okay, here, stepping it, triangulating, and forward stance. Okay, boxing stance, so jumping up a little wider than shoulder width distance, going back and forth on your knee, on your balls of your feet. For standing up fighting, I think that if you really want some better advice for MMA and street fighting and combat fighting, you want to take the UFC approach. Obvious, I mean, that's really, to me, it's kind of obvious, but for you, if this is new, it's pretty obvious. People, you need to have that UFC kind of combat stance where you're a little lower center of gravity, but you can move and shift and switch your stance and move around a lot more aggressively and less acceptable to being swept and attacked to your legs with grappling, jujitsu, that kind of stuff. Or people go at your legs to take you down or sweep you. If you're hitting objects, your center of gravity is lower, so it's better. If you're standing up doing boxing, you're just gonna get pushed around. People these days, it's not just standing up like, you know, it was 50 years ago where you just bar fights and street fights or just kind of boxing. We're in a whole different, you know, most people that trained are not on the streets, and that's not what you're gonna be being confronted by, but it's always best to just get that different stance, okay? So those are the stances, and then one quick thing, start to move from stance to stance, okay? Just be in kind of a horse stance. You're like, okay, I'm just getting a little nice workout, getting my knees going, and then I'm gonna step forward into side stance. Hands are up, elbows up, blocking, you know, getting a little bit movement here. Maybe you throw a little side kick. Maybe you come back to center and you do a triangulate back, and then you shuffle, triangulate, and then you step this front foot. You just step it over to the side, step the other foot over, so you're in maybe a combat stance, and then you triangulate, and shuffle step, triangulate a couple times, boom, boom, and then you switch over here, and then you throw you're in kind of a boxing, throwing punches, and then you go back to combat stance, grappling, push each other away, okay, and then you come in side stance, groin, elbow to the chin, eyes, all kinds of grappling stuff. You pull somebody in, go like this, you get in the combat stance again, I'll go into the shoulder, under the arm for Ganseki Nage, you know, knee, you throw the person, then there's another person coming at you, you're like, whoa, triangulate again, you triangulate, and then you just kind of step and circle, and you come in, you got a nice combat stance again, you come in. Start practicing that, okay? Start practicing that. That's where the sweet spot, that's the gold and platinum, that's the diamonds, that's the good stuff, that's the advanced, that's putting it all together. You get in a workout, that's really extreme practical self-defense right there. That's very practical self-defense. Of course, it's amazing to learn. You got to learn the knees and the elbows and the forearms, which we'll go into. I think day 2, tomorrow will be, or the next video will be that, striking. And so, but one of the best foundations is get your body to feel muscle memory with the stances and movements and being smooth. Don't be clunky, you know, and off balance. Okay, work on your balance. Okay, up on one foot, switch, stance, up on another foot. Here, shuffle forward, shuffle back, shuffle in a circle. See, boom, step, 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 hands up. So, hope that helps. I hope that you get something out of this, and I'll see you guys on day 2. So stick around and see you there. Thanks for watching.